Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. So, going to be a quick video today, a update on Bitcoin MYK, the project we're working on. If you're not familiar with what Bitcoin MYK is, it's based on universal basic income, social media integrated into universal basic income, um, basically a network payment system to distribute basic income. Everything basically integrated into one. So, what's been happening on the basic income front? So, we know that with the tumultuous affair between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, um, basically there was this push now for a potential third party, right? Now, interesting enough, Elon Musk, prior to his involvement with Donald Trump, was a big advocate for universal basic income as far as backing presidential candidates like Andrew Yang. So this is a thing. This is a big thing. The discussion of basic income has resurfaced again, uh, basically dealing with the advancements of AI automation, the potential for job displacement, right? Not to fearmonger, right? There is this theory that potentially the onslaught of the fourth industrial revolution, that there will be more jobs created. There will be new jobs created to balance out the jobs that can be displaced or taken away, a large amount of jobs. Now, there's also the idea that we're getting to the precipice of these may be some of the last jobs humans ever perform again, or this may be we may be on the stages of the last inventions human beings are going to create, because what you're going to have in place of that is AI inventing everything going forward into the future, right? So the AI will be smarter, it will invent things before humans. And because of that, humans might not be able to invent anything else ever again, right? Very fearful if you think about that. Now, like most people, I would like to stick to the hope of there are going to be new jobs created that people can do, and that these AI systems won't continue to advance, but there will be basically human beings using these AI systems and keeping up with the pace. Now, there are a few problems with ideas like that. The first problem is, if the AI systems could just do the jobs better than humans, why would you have humans using the AIs when the AIs are doing all the work? Why wouldn't you just have the AIs using, using? So we don't want to take away hopelessness again. The important things to do, the responsible things to do, is to be prepared either way, right? You don't want to get to a point where you're hoping you can retrain the workforce, but unfortunately, that workforce is unable to keep up. Uh, at certain age cutoffs, once you start to get over 35, 40, 50 years old, it gets more difficult to retrain you. Uh, the younger generations that are being trained, are they all going to be AI programmers? Are they all going to work in artificial intelligence? Are all these jobs going to populate in technology? So is everybody just going to be technical people? And I think when many of us sit down and really think about that, looking at the human mind and brain, the cranium capacity, that many of us just haven't ever been technical people. That there's always been a minority group of people who are the technical people who are working with these AI systems. So that's interesting to think about, that everybody will be performing and doing something in AI. There, of course, is also the entertainment field. There's the personal fitness areas, right, where people could be doing that. But again, all of those problems can face service robots, hospitality robots that can perform these tasks at a much higher level, right? So we have to bear and keep that all in mind. Projects like Bitcoin MYK, ideas like basic income, resurfacing again, not going away. The uh, what would be the success of some of these ideas and projects platforms, I believe could be based on the idea of automation putting people out of work. There are a lot of people getting laid off. I was just in a discussion with uh, someone last night who told me that a family member of theirs had just been laid off by Google and that they were going to call them up and see if they how things were with them, if they're doing okay, because of course losing a big job can be a huge problem, right? Can be very daunting on people. So Bitcoin MYK project, again, the social media, looking at networks that can amass $2-3 trillion that can be redistributed back to the people. Of course, an idea in the future, it won't just be Bitcoin MYK. It will be many projects sharing a similar structure that are working to solve the issue. Of course, we want to remind you this is what robots are able to do now. In the workforce, their dexterity, their physical attributes, right? They can backflip, they can do parkour, they can run, they can work with their hands, remember, non-stop. These aren't going to be machines that get tired. They're not going to complain. That's funny. Look at that. Just utterly amazing, right? And so we want to remind you all, this is what we're looking at. With the brain capacity, the processing, brain IQs starting at over 140, well beyond the capacity of a human. Right now, artificial intelligence is able to outprogram many programmers. They're inventive, they're creative on their own. I saw one that was built a bridge, came up with a great design for a bridge that humans hadn't thought of. They're going to be curing diseases. They're going to be solving a lot of problems. This is, I mean, we have to face it that this is leading to making human beings obsolete. Um, to a great degree. Unfortunately, we cannot limit the progress of artificial intelligence, right? So we have to prepare systems to work alongside them. And my prediction is we're going to see a great deal more success with universal basic income projects like ours, and many others that we're going to see emerge on the scenes. We're going to see a great deal of discussion on the political fronts of systems that structures that promote and distribute universal basic income at both the federal and state level as well as the private sector level, right? And I think it's reached a point in the conversation where it's not a matter if, but when. And we don't want to bury our heads in the sand about these things just because we don't like them. Um, it's not a matter of liking it, it's a matter of the reality in a situation we find ourselves in. Right, so those are all important things to keep in mind. If you have any questions or comments about this area, we'd love to hear your thoughts about it. What is your contingency plan in a world where robots and automation take pretty much every job there is? Some people think, you know, it's an utter nonsense that it won't happen. Uh, as a matter of fact, we have truck drivers who still believe that they won't be replaced by artificial intelligence on the road. I mean, they're every week states are literally getting licenses to run driverless convoys of trucks on the highway, and we still have truck drivers saying they don't feel they're going to be replaced. So we have to analyze, all these things was happening around us. Remember, typically how things happen is we wake up one day, we turn on the news, and There are companies with driverless cars. There are domesticated robots now in homes. Oftentimes, although these things have been building up and going on for maybe 10, 20 years, it doesn't really hit us or come on the horizon until these actual bots and AI and beings are in our living rooms, on our highways, right? And that's typically how it works. Unfortunately, when that happens, we're at a big issue, big problem, right? So, responsible thing to do: be preparing for these things before they happen. If they don't happen, then that's a good thing. We can afford for it not to happen. But if it does happen, we cannot afford for it to happen, right? So those are things to think about. That's all I want to say in this particular video. It's an update on Bitcoin, MYK, Universal Basic Income, how well it's doing. And until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.